Now, and do you remember what O.J. was found guilty of?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I always say there's three things in life that are for certain: death, taxes, and karma. And O.J. Simpson had karma when he got convicted and put in prison in Las Vegas.
You bet. I concur with her assessment on that.
Yeah. That was karma.
Wholeheartedly.
But the point was, though, his case was something that most legal analysts told me that maybe he should, if it was somebody else, that this way it worked the other way with celebrity justice. What O.J. did in 2007, you shouldn't have got 9 to 93 years. I don't think most people that on my show say maybe tops 5-6 years. You agree?
Well, I think that trial, I mean, it was kidnapping. Wasn't it robbery? It was a takedown robbery with him telling everyone to get down at gunpoint. That's very serious, and he was sentenced for very serious crimes. He did it, and it was no defense in Nevada for him to say that property he was trying to get back was his. So the judge was no nonsense, and she sentenced him, and I think she did the right thing. And frankly, he was going to face karma. I believe in karma, and he did, and that's where he sits now, is in a prison where he belongs.
So say you're Joseph.
I got no beef here. I mean, look, listen, for years and years, cocktail talk and coffee table talk relative to O.J. Simpson. Everywhere I go, people will want to know, what's my take on the forensic evidence, the O.J. Simpson case and this and that. And I just, I sit there and I look at the evidence, and the evidence laid out before me, and I think, I was scratching my head, and I'm thinking, well, sooner or later, what comes around goes around. And I got to concur. I have no other scientific explanation for it other than he picked the wrong place to go and commit this other horrible crime. In Nevada, this is very dangerous business he was engaged in. I think he got what was coming to him. You show up with a crew of people at a hotel room and you threaten people with bodily injury. You're forcing them on the ground. You have weapons. You got a whole crew of guys with you. This isn't like he just knocked on the door and calmly walked in. This was something that was kind of planned and premeditated. Very serious offense. I don't know. Every dog has his day.
And this is the year we mark 20 years that O.J. was found not guilty. As you look back 20 years ago at this trial, what comes to mind?
Well, I think that we've seen a real evolution in the way that we deal with public trials, at least from my experience. I think O.J. was kind of the watershed case. And I think since that time, we've seen more dignity in the system. Michael Jackson's case wasn't televised. It was very well handled by the judge and the media. Scott Peterson's case was televised, but likewise had dignity in the coverage. I think when you look at Martha Stewart's case, or you look at Tsarnaev, or any other case, Aaron Hernandez, I think we've learned a lot from the O.J. Simpson case, and that is a trial is not a charade. It's not entertainment, and it's not something that comes out on a whimper with a horrible result. And I think that's been a very good thing for our country and our justice system.
And do you think that was great defense or poor offense, poor prosecution?
I think it was a poor offense. I think there were so many mistakes in the prosecution. I mean, it was a great defense, of course, but the offense in the way the case was tried was just, in my mind as a former prosecutor, there were so many things that could have been handled differently, most specifically Mark Fuhrman as a witness and dealing with the issues of race. I mean, my is right.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Let me go to you, Joseph, and now that it's 20 years on that, and you, like you said, forensic, you deal with all that. What comes to mind when you think about that 20 years ago, O.J. Simpson acquitted?
It completely spun us around on our heels in forensics. I can say, when people say that they're in forensics, that's like someone saying they're in medicine you have to say, well, what's your particular area of expertise? And, mine is medical legal death investigation. That's what I center on, and that is, forensic pathology and crime scene investigation relative to deaths. And I have to say that for us, it started an initiative within the medical legal community for all of our investigators where there was a national standard that came about as a result of what we were doing. That actually, we had a motto that was reflective of this that was developed. It was called Every Scene, Every Time. And that is that medical legal death investigators across the country, as a direct result of what happened with the Simpson case, would now begin to work on a template that myself and there were 12 others of us that were handed this this mass of just confusion by National Institute for Justice, and we developed the Department of Justice's template for death investigation standards in America, and that came about as a result of that. That was the kind of the spark that lit the fuse, and it's been going like gangbusters for us since then. We have direct accountability now for people in my field. When you walk through the door of a scene, you assume nothing. You assume that everything is a homicide. You treat everything as valuable evidence. Everybody that shows up uses universal precautions. There are no wild assumptions made. Hopefully, that's what we hope for. And I don't know. It was a horrible tragedy, the deaths of these two people. But I look at it, and I really think that something good came out of it. At least in my field, it did.
Yes, I think you make actually some very intelligent points.